There is a TV show coming out on August 13th on Sci-Fi, and it's called Heroes of Cosplay. And I was the first inducted cast member in this project over 3 years ago. Basically what that means is someone called me, a friend of mine called me at, I think 11 o'clock at night and was like, hey, so I think, would you be okay if I pitched you as a TV show? And I was like, what? He's like, what? He's like, yeah, I have an idea for a cosplay TV show, and I really want you to be the person to, be in it. And I was like, what does that mean? And they're like, well, if they like the idea, they would basically document your life. They would come into your house and they would watch you make costumes and follow you to a convention. And I was like, my first thought was like, no. Don't come into my messy house. My house is not that great for TV. But then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? This has never been done before. But there's interest for a cosplay TV show. So I was like, all right, I'll be open to the idea. Let's see where this leads. And actually, within the course of a year, I got, I think, maybe a dozen different random people approaching me that were all interested in doing a cosplay TV show. But none of them really knew what they wanted to do. They were just like, we just want to do a TV show about cosplay. We just want to do a reality show, that's all. And I'm like, so what do you envision this being? And some of them were like, well, do you have any enemies? What? They're like, do you have any enemies that you could, tell us? And I was like, no, I'm gonna bite into that. Or somebody was like, well, we envision putting cosplayers, a bunch of cosplayers in a house. So there were some really bizarre requests out there. And then what this first request that came, because it was a friend of mine, I was like, all right, I'll see where this goes. And amazingly, Sci-Fi was a network that was interested. And I was like, I think Sci-Fi would be a great network for this. Their audience would, they love Face Off. I think Face Off already is very close to what cosplay is, with special effects, with create that someone is doing a TV show about cosplay and they would think all kinds of horrible things about it. And what I would just like to clarify is that competition is a big part of cosplay. It used to be the only real aspect of cosplay is to be in competitions. Now you have ways to do photo shoots and post your pictures online. You can do video shoots with certain photographers. You no longer have to go through the effort of competing to showcase your costume. So some newer generation cosplayers, they've never experienced what it's like to enter a costume competition. But it really is it's a very essential part of cosplay. And for someone like me, I don't think I would be here and I would do cosplay after all these years if I didn't have the competitions at the beginning. That is what pushed me to be a better cosplayer. That was made me want to create better costumes that look good also on the inside, because now judges at contests, they'll flip your seams. They'll look and see what your costume looks like on the inside as well as the outside. So your outfit has to be constructed very well. And I think that definitely, leads to people being more ambitious and being more detail-oriented and really putting a lot more thought into it. And really, I love the creative and the craftsmanship aspect of cosplay. So I'm always very supportive of competition, and I'm always there to help judge them. And so that is actually what I do on the show. I am judging these contests so that the viewers will get a viewpoint from a judge, not just from the contestants. You can actually see why did we pick this person? Why did this person not win? Why did that person win? You get an understanding of that. So I'm hoping that you guys will tune in. I'm hoping you will give Heroes of Cosplay a chance and support the show. And then if there's anything that you don't like, then reach out to Sci-Fi, email them, post your opinions online, let them know what they should do better for a next season. Because that's ultimately what we want. We want to be able to tell more of the stories of cosplayers. We want to be able to, reach out to more cosplayers and follow different cosplayers even more. So that's what I can say about the show. see more hands. I think I saw yours first, and then yours, and then yours. So.
How do you decide what your next costume is going to be like? We can decide to this storm. What the thought process that went into that?
Oh, great question. I honestly, for me, it is a combination between if I have a rapport with the character, like I feel like I have to have some sort of connection with the character, you know, like I have to, even if they're a villain, even if they're, you know, whatever, like there has to be something about the character that makes me go, I want to know more about this character, or I think it's really interesting, you know, how this character is presented. Aside from that, I definitely have to think about, like, can I pull off this costume? Like, you know, like if the character is supposed to be 6'3", you know, probably not gonna work, you know. Or like height shouldn't really matter, just like, you know, I cosplay outside my race often, but I try to think of, you know, would I feel comfortable wearing this character? Would I feel comfortable embodying this character? And then, of course, there's the craftsmanship challenge. Because I've been doing this for so long, I went through phases where I would just be like, I just want to make what I love. And what I love is, you know, pretty princess dresses and lots of details and feathers and beads. And then I made a lot of those costumes. I'm like, you know what? I gotta expand. I gotta do something different. I don't want to only make the same type of costume over and over again. I want to learn other skills. So I was like, I want to learn how to make armor. I want to learn how to make something out of spandex, you know. I want to learn how to do something futuristic. And so for each costume, there's so much that goes into, you know, the thought process. And I think those are all valid reasons. And, you know, I don't think you have to always cosplay your favorite character. You should just cosplay a character that you would like to be for a day. So for Sue, it was actually the fabric that I found. I found this material that is a 4-way stretch, rubber-coated spandex, except it doesn't even really feel like spandex. It feels more like a neoprene. And I saw it and I was like, this would be great for a superhero suit. I don't know which, I'm just gonna buy it. So I bought 3 yards of it, and then a couple months went by, and I was like, oh, Kotobukiya, they have the, you know, Sue Storm statue. And I saw it at a convention in person. I saw how the finishing on the statue was exactly like this fabric. And I was like, there's nothing I can make out of this better than Sue Storm. And so that is why I decided to do this costume. And you know, I was like, this is how all superhero suits should be made. I need to find this fabric in every color. That's my mission now. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Yes, I saw. Was it? Okay. Yeah.
I was wondering what you did to find like the best fabrics and wigs and things like that for your costumes. And how long does it usually take you to make them?
Okay, all right. Fabric hunt is a huge part of cosplay. I feel like finding the right materials is literally half the work is already done there. And I used to, you know, do what I can in local stores, but there's only so much that is available, and thank God there's more and more available each year, because when I started, we basically had Baroque satin, and that was it. It was so sad. Yeah, I did. I made a costume out of Baroque satin because there was nothing else I could use. And now it's like, thank God, there's like bridal satins, and there's embroidered materials and brocades and such. But specialty fabrics, I do order online. And for spandex materials, Spandex World, I'm very loyal to them. I think they have great service. I recently, a package got lost from them, and it was the post office fault. It wasn't their fault. They sent it out. The post office lost it, and then they, you know, actually took the initiative, started a claim with FedEx, and when FedEx reimbursed them for the money, they reimbursed me. And I was like, this is pretty good customer service. So yeah, they send out samples. They have a huge variety of 4-way stretch, 2-way stretch, you know, with designs on it, with various finishes on it. But still, the best way to look for fabrics is in person, and that is, you know, you have to go to a fabric district. So there's one in New York and there's one in LA that are both very well known. I go to LA fairly often for conventions, for various things. I have friends who live out there. So every time I go to LA, I make it a point to spend half a day in the fabric district. And I'm very determined. I bring reference pictures of, 5, 6 new costumes that I want to make, and I'm just out like looking for outfits, or looking for fabrics for the outfits. And I will sometimes stock up on materials that could sit around. They'll sometimes sit around for 2-3 months, but eventually I use all of them. And so that's what makes it worth to me. So, but yeah, it's like you have to think outside the box and be able to order things online if you can't find it in person. And that's the thing. All right, I think you had a hand up.
Yeah. I just wanted to know, because you were talking about how there's different ways to make costumes, like an armor or like cloth or just like a suit. What would be your favorite or you think most efficient way to make a costume? And,
Wow, that's a great question. What is the most efficient and best way to make a costume? Armor is a pain in the butt. It really is. Like when I made my first suit of armor, I was like, usually I can make a costume in a week to 2 weeks. Like this one is taking me 5 weeks and it still doesn't look as good as I want it to. But it's just about like the challenge of accepting to learn a new technique. That's really what it is. Like even though I'm not very good at making armor, I'm still going to go for it because I like the challenge, or I really want to be this character, so it's worth it for me to learn the skill. And now, it's all practice. With each material that you learn, you get better at it, you get faster at it. I'm very quick at making a spandex bodysuit now. But if I were to, work with resin, or if I were to sculpt, I'm still pretty slow. I don't think there is a best way. I don't think there is a most efficient way to make a costume. I think it depends on what costume you want to make. And for me, that's always been my, I guess that's always been not really my mission, but it's something that I've always strived to do, is to not get stagnant using one material. Like I don't want to always have to make everything out of spandex, because that limits me. It limits me to only doing, superhero suits or video game superhero suits. If I'm able to work with silks, if I'm able to work with cottons and, knits and whatever materials, as well as resin or fiberglass or Worbla, Wonderflex, then it leaves me open to do as many costumes of different kinds that I want. And so I'm very respectful of cosplayers who have a niche, who really think that they're specialists in something. Some people call themselves wig specialists, or they are prop specialists, or they are very good with working with wood, or very good with working with leather. And I appreciate that. For me, I would rather be a jack of most trades, and be able to hone different skills. And so yeah, because in the end, I just want to make the costumes I want to make. So. That's all. Any other questions? Aha, I saw this hand and then Alice.
What costume was your favorite one to make or be in?
My favorite costume to make or be in, that would be more than one, definitely. Like it would be impossible to choose one. It really is. Like I'm attached to a lot of my costumes. They all give me a different, side of fun or a different feel. I definitely really enjoy being Chun-Li, because I think people really people really get a good reaction from it. But then it's super fun to pose in Chun-Li, because you can do the cute poses, you can do the badass poses, you can do some fighting poses. And so there's a lot. I like it when a character has a lot of different personalities or different facades to them. So yeah, like Chun-Li, Felicia, same. It's like very playful, but at the same time very, badass. Catwoman's another one. And then there's some costumes that really seem bigger than you. Like when I did Jessica Rabbit, I was like, I couldn't even be myself. Like, cause when you're in that costume, you literally you can't see. Like half your face is covered with hair. You have contacts in. You have three pairs of eyelashes on, and then heels, and then that dress, and you're just like, I have to be Jessica Rabbit. You can't even walk fast if you wanted to. Literally, like you have to sashay. You have to, in that outfit. So I'm like, all right, it's literally like the character takes over. Like it's no longer me. So, and those costumes are really fun sometimes, but it's like I can only wear Jessica Rabbit to a convention that has a nightlife because I feel like she just doesn't fit in, at noon, in a convention hall. Like no, like it has to be, a Dragon Con where there's, a hotel lobby with a bar and you can just kind of walk into a party type. So I feel like costumes, for me at least, they sometimes have their, time and place. So, Alice.
Silently my phone. Okay. Just out of curiosity, which costume for you was most difficult to put together?
Most difficult to put together. There have been several frustrating projects, definitely. The one that really took a lot out of me was Carmilla from Vampire Hunter D, because I actually made Carmilla at the same time as I made Joe Linsner's Dawn, and I was competing in 2 different costume contests within 2 weeks of each other. So it was, I don't know, I was like, why did I take this on? Why did I take on 2 giant costume contests with 2 elaborate costumes, all due within a couple of weeks of each other? And so it was very stressful. I remember just feeling a lot of pressure as I worked on the outfits. And Carmilla just kind of, again, it was like a costume that was larger than me. I was kind of just slaving away for the costume. It wasn't like I was making the costume for myself. It was like I had to make the costume because the costume demanded it. And so actually after that, after I made Dawn and Carmilla, I didn't touch a sewing machine for 6 months. That's no joke, literally. It was packed away for 6 months. I would do other crafty stuff, but I could not make another costume for 6 months. And that was probably the longest hiatus I took in the recent several years. And ever since, I'm like, all right, gotta pace myself. gotta learn to pace myself better. And so now I really look at my schedule for each month and look at how much time I can set aside making costumes. Because I kind of binge make them. I don't know if that makes sense. I can't just work on them for 2 hours every night. I have to literally set aside a whole week and just work on one. Every day from morning to 3 in the morning, just bam, just have to go. And I also buy all my notions, all my supplies, everything in bulk because I hate running out of something at 3 in the morning. That's the worst. You run out of thread, or you don't have snaps, or you don't have glue, or you don't have something that you need, you can't continue your costume. I'm like, no, this will never happen to me again. So so that's how I make costumes, I just have to block out days where I'm I get all my work done in the days before and after, and then that block is just for me, not for anybody else. So yeah, Carmilla was difficult. Working on Fiora, the suit of armor from League of Legends, that was frustrating because I was just so slow at it. I was and I'm pretty fast. I'm fairly fast working with Warbler, but I was it just takes forever to heat this stuff up and then to place it right and then to seal it and then paint it. But it's you have to, even when things are frustrating while you're making something, you have to enjoy that process because that is all part of it. And then when you put on the costume for the first time, after all of that frustration, all of the cursing and all the insomnia, you're just the pride you feel, that it's it really is a magical moment to be able to put on a costume that you really worked hard on. And that is sort of that euphoria is what I chase with each outfit. I don't know if that makes sense. Yes, I see a hand in the back.
Speaking of costumes, what are you working on now?
What am I working on now? Oh my god. I'm working on Dragon Con costumes, or I'm about to start working on Dragon Con costumes. I should have started already, so I'm a little bit stressed that I can't get them done. I have 2 that I really want to make. Because for Comic-Con I made a couple superhero suits, and so I really want to make something very frilly. I want to work with silks. I want to I've been working with spandex and doing all these badass characters. Now I want to do something very feminine, very beautiful. And so I'm working on a costume of Saga Frontier's White Rose. It's from an older video game. Her outfit is like, she literally has flowers all over it, and I'm just like, I just want to be a big flower. So that's what I'm working on. I bought lots of Dupioni silk when I was in LA last time, and it's all really pretty pastel colors. And so, you know, it'll be a corset, it'll be a skirt, it'll be, you know, various frilly things, and so that's my next outfit. And then after I make that, and then I'm gonna work on Batgirl. So it's like I gotta switch it up. I can't always just do the same thing.
So, what are your favorite YouTube channels and web pages that you visit to pretty much keep up as a cosplayer and learn more about something that you're good at?
Absolutely, YouTube is an invaluable. It's so valuable to cosplayers. That's what I tell everybody. Go on YouTube. Any technique you want to learn is on YouTube. You know, you can type in anything, how to make this, and there will be something. And even if it's not a tutorial that you maybe can follow, like some tutorials are made, like I can't follow every YouTube tutorial. There's some that, you know, I understand better than others. But they'll give you keywords. They'll give you keywords that you can then type into Google, and you can search those keywords. And really finding information, it's all about having the right keyword that'll pull everything up. So like if you don't know what something is called, you go like type in various things until you find a website that tells you what this actual material is called or what this technique is called, and then you search for that, and that usually gives you the right information. But it's like companies that sell materials or tools, they want you to learn. Like they want customers, so they're going to teach you how to make things using their materials or using their tools. You know, so it's like the information is all out there. DeviantArt is a great site for keeping up with international cosplayers. I think DeviantArt is a lot better than Facebook. You know, like Facebook tends to just post whatever they think will get views, will get hits. And a lot of the content on Facebook is either rehashed or taken from DeviantArt. So I go straight to DeviantArt and I look at what photographers post all over the world and what cosplayers post, you know, and that's, yeah, and that's basically, those are the two main sites I would recommend. I mean, I'm sure there's others out there, but yeah, I really like them. Yes?
Do you buy your wigs or do you make them? If you do make them, how?
Okay, honestly, there is no reason that you should have to make a wig these days. Again, it's like so amazing. There are now wig sellers at conventions. There are wig companies that are focused on cosplayers. They make pre-styled wigs, they make wigs in all kinds of colors, they make wigs in blended colors just for whatever cosplayers need. You know, we had to Sharpie dye a lot of wigs back when I started. Again, I say a lot of back in the day when I started. But now really, it's not about making a wig, it's about altering a wig. You can heavily alter a wig. You know, for Carmilla, for recently I did Cheryl Gnome, I basically did an Oiron wig from two, you know, pink and blonde, you know, wavy wigs. And so you just have to be able to, like, again, you can learn these techniques, you can learn how to make extensions, you can learn how to form wigs over a shape using either like watered down Elmer's glue, which is what I use, but then other people use other things, and be able to literally make a wig do all kinds of crazy shapes. And that is all possible. And really, like for me, I just like to buy more than one wig if I need to do anything extra to it. And or there are people now who are doing ventilated lace front wigs. Arda Wigs just put up a tutorial, which I'm dying to try out, but on YouTube, Arda Wigs put a tutorial on how to ventilate your own lace front. So you can have a widow's peak if you want to, you can have all kinds of crazy, whatever hairlines that characters have, or you can just make a natural looking hairline. And they'll show you how to hand tie wigs and using a ventilated needle. And so I think that's pretty awesome. You know, the information is out there. So, any more questions? Okay, I saw your hand first, and then Raka.
I just wanted to know
how you go from like a cosplayer to a professional cosplayer with your own company.
Okay, how to go from a cosplayer to a professional cosplayer. I do get that question often. It's difficult for me to answer it because I took literally the slowest route you could potentially take as a professional cosplayer. Like, I was like, other professional cosplayers, they've been doing this for like 3 years. I've been doing this for 14, you know? But like, it depends on what you want to do. There are various ways that you could make money in cosplay. It is an emerging industry now, and it will only get bigger, you know, with Heroes of Cosplay coming out, with books coming out on cosplay, like the 1000 Incredible Costume and Cosplay Ideas book and all that. Like, cosplay is becoming, there's momentum now, and it will only get bigger. But it also is a very precarious time. Like, I feel like we're experiencing growing pains. I'm worried about our community. I have some very, you know, intense concerns. But for someone who wants to come in and monetize from cosplay, you know, just make sure you do it. Just make sure you provide either a service or you provide products that are worth it for people to purchase. So, you know, don't really, really think of it as, you know, you want to provide something that hasn't been there before. So like, some people will open commission businesses if they really enjoy making costumes and they think they have the time management skills and organization skills. They can actually make a living making costumes for others. That is actually a huge business, and it's something that the cosplay community needs. We need more custom-made costumes here in the United States instead of the eBay China costumes. Like, we need to move away from that. There needs to be more people wanting to open commission businesses and really have the skills as well as the dedication for that, because it does. It's like, once you're dealing with a boutique business and customers who all want like something to their size and to their specifications, it's a lot of effort, but the payoff is huge. I know commissioners that can charge thousands of dollars for one costume. And if they're able to build their business and build their reputation, if they're able to deliver the outfits and the customers are happy, you know, they will be booked up for years in advance. And so that I actually have people ask me all the time, like, do you make costumes for others? And sadly, I don't anymore. I used to. I had a commission business until, you know, my company kind of went a different direction. And so now I'm like scrambling to find more people that I can recommend. And so I think that is a really huge part to becoming a professional cosplayer, is to be able to make costumes for yourself, for others, you know, whatever. Of course, there are certain companies that will actually sponsor cosplayers to be spokesmodel for them, but a lot of those gigs are still very side. They're still side jobs. They're not going to pay for your bills. They're not going to pay your rent. So it's really a lot of freelance artistic work, you know, where you can do what I do, which is now I have a line of cosplay accessories that I take to conventions. And I know cosplayers that have started making My Little Pony hoodies, or like cute character inspired hoodies, or character hats, or whatever products that they can that is cosplay related. And it's a product, so like they're able to make money because people want to give them, you know, money for this thing that they made by hand. Or you can go the Arta Wigs route. Arta, like, they're cosplayers. The people who run Arta Wigs, which is one of the most successful wig companies, at least in the cosplay community, is run by 2 cosplayers. And they've hired other cosplayers, and they were able to get the capital and figure out how to go to China and talk to a manufacturing company. And so I think it's a mix between being an artist and being a business woman, which for me, I'm still learning. But, you know, it takes a lot of dedication thinking outside the box. So I hope that makes sense. All right. Yes, Ronka. Oh, okay. She's asking how to seal and paint Warbler, which is a thermoplastic. Can I ask what your technique is, what you have tried? Uh-huh. Okay. Right. And now it's rubbing off like when you, is it when you flex or when like you end up just rubbing against something? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, there are various ways you can seal it. From my research, and this is just me doing research online, there's gesso or gesso. Yeah, gesso, which will require several layers to put on, and that is what a lot of people have used over in Germany, where Warbler was originated. And the other way that is wood glue, and you have to paint it on in thin layers, and it takes like 3 to 4, 5 layers sometimes. And the more layers you paint on, the smoother it will be. And but then the wait time is like 2-3 hours, I think, between layers, and that for me is just way too long. So my two pieces of armor that I've made, I just used a filler primer, and I don't know if that is what you use, but like I specifically did it's a primer that is used to fill imperfections on cars. That's what you use. See, that makes no sense to me then, because I use the same thing and it stayed just fine, which makes me wonder if it is your paint. It's possibly your paint. You should maybe consider going to a hobby shop, and they have paints that are specifically for model car kits, and those are more expensive. They're very small cans, but the color is more vibrant. It ends up making the pieces look more expensive, I think, like more authentic, and I've never had a problem with it rubbing off, so that's maybe what I would recommend. I do seal it after, yeah, clear sealant, yeah, spray sealant. But also I have done acrylic paint, like just hand brushed on with details with acrylic paint over the spray paint, and that worked too. So, but yeah, I think maybe it's your paint. Yes.
Do you have any tips for
new tips for new cosplayers? Tips for new cosplayers. I would say definitely. Starting to run over. Sorry. Definitely use the resources available. Do not be afraid to experiment. If you fail at something, that's part of it. Like, don't give up. Don't give up because you failed at one thing. And choose costumes based on your skill level. Like, do not feel like as a new cosplayer you have to go out and bust out, a mecha suit. It's really okay. That's what I did. That's what most cosplayers have done. Really like build up your skills and think of it as a video game. Like you're collecting skills and you're leveling up, and then when you level up, then you can make a bigger costume or a more elaborate costume. And just it takes time. Like I feel like a lot of cosplayers these days, they're very anxious, they're very excited. They just want to do the big things because they see other people do the big things. But just know everybody had to get there from some point. Some people have resources that you don't have. Some people have access to 3D printers. Some people have, a boyfriend who can make armor for them, and so they don't have to. And so it's like, really, don't get discouraged by what you may see online, like either intimidated by other people's costumes, or if you get bad feedback from somebody, don't get discouraged by it. I was very lucky that when we started cosplaying, the only other people commenting on our pictures were cosplayers. So in a way, they understood. They might judge you, and there was drama, whatever, but they at least understood where you came from because they knew what it was like to dress up. Now with Facebook, Twitter, even DeviantArt, the people commenting on your pictures, they're not cosplayers. They've never dressed up before. They don't know the courage that it takes to go out there in costume. And so they just see what is in the picture. They just take you for face value. And they will just judge you and, you know, pull you down however they can, because what is it to them? So, you know, for me, I'm just like, just understand how the community is now and cosplay your own way. Like, don't let anything stop you from cosplaying your way, and really take your time, enjoy the process. You know, don't feel like if you're making a simple costume that you're not doing a good job. Make that simple costume really awesome, and then make a better costume, and then just keep going. So that's my best advice. Yeah. I did want to say that the two of the lovely members from Corey Books, which is my publisher for the 1000 Incredible Costume and Cosplay Ideas book, they're here, and Katie and Becky, and I just wanted to say what a pleasure it was to be on the project, to be able to help bring the book to life. For those of you who don't know, it is the first book of its kind collecting costumes from all over the world, and it features 1,000 costumes. And people submitted from all over the place. You can see all kinds of outfits in there, you know, male cosplayers, female cosplayers, families. You'll see, you know, mascot costumes, props, kids, and it's such a well-rounded book that showcases just how vast this thing that we love is, and how many people do it from around the world. And so I'm definitely really excited that they're here, and I think they brought a book and they're going to give it away to a lucky winner. So one of you will be able to walk home with this book here. It's awesome. Yay! So how do you guys want to do this? Do you want to do a trivia? Do you want to do, oh God. Wait, now the pressure's all on me. What? Oh goodness. Somebody give me suggestions for trivia questions. Somebody help me with this. Come on. Should we do comic book trivia? Should we do cosplay trivia? Cosplay trivia. Oh my God. I'm not gonna know any. Okay, I did a trivia like this at Anime Expo, kind of, to give away one of my calendars. I guess we could do. Oh, we have two even. Okay, God, even more pressure. Thank you. So 2 books to give away. Well, okay, first trivia question. This is a hard one for some of you, I think. But can one of you name 3 original costumes that I have made? This was hard at AX, because everybody knows the costumes that I make based on characters, but they may not know that I actually design and make original costumes.
Okay, I know
and
one.
I have made many of them.
Yeah, I know.
Veronica has her hand up. Oh, I see another hand.
I know.
Okay. Yes, Retro Space Girl. Yes, Battle Angel. One more. Just one more.
Did you get yours?
No. I was looking at it last night.
Yes, but that count as one. Come on, I've made so many.
It was an Egypt one, but I think it was inspired by
I'll take that. That was inspired, but it was definitely my own concept. Yeah. Great. I've also made the peacock. I've made the absent fairy. You know, I've made a fox costume. I've made a lot of original costumes. Steampunk. Steampunk magic. So, all right. And I have no idea what to ask for the second one. Do you have any ideas? Do you guys want to
know
know
one.
something?
It's called Amethyst. Very purple.
If anybody has an idea for a question, feel free to speak up.
That's right.
Oh, come on, it has to be
Would you
cosplay.
like me to field this one?
Please,
my
Khaleesi.
3 dragons.
Oh my god! Good one!
I got this.
Good one.
It's Rhaegal, Drogon, and Viserion.
Thank you! Thank you. And Khaleesi saves the day.
Thank you, Stormborn Queen.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. I think this is it time-wise. And I hope it was somewhat helpful, our panel. If you have any more questions, I'll be at my table in the Artist Alley section. I think it's row 800. Feel free to come by. Any questions you have, I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna.
Hi, I'm Tyro Man. I'm at Boston Comic Con. I'm talking with Gary Sohmers, who has a company called Image Meet and Greet. You want to tell us a little about it?
Aloha, I am Gary Sohmers, King of Pop Culture, and yes, you have seen me on TV. I did 13 seasons on Antiques Roadshow, appraising all the fun stuff that you see here. Comic books, toys, memorabilia, and autographs. And most autographs are fake. No matter what people tell you, you look on Fleabay, and they're all fake, no matter what they tell you. Unless you see it signed in person, it's probably fake. But what we've done is we've invented a new technology that captures the autograph on video as it happens. You're sitting right there, it's captured on video and emailed to you instantly. But if you can't get to Boston Comic Con, you can go to our website and order them and have this done for you, and then we mail it to you. That's imagemeetandgreet.com, and it's a new technology that's never been experienced before. We actually got to show it right here at the Boston Comic Con, and everyone seems to like it.
So this is sort of like the premiere of Image Greet.
We've just come out of stealth, as we like to say. We've done a few events with Marky Ramone, Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees, and several other celebrity talent. And Billy West is one of my favorites. I've been a friend of Billy's for 30 years, and he's worthy and deserving to be as famous, if not more famous, than everybody else in the whole world. So we're happy to bring Billy West back to Boston for Boston Comic Con.
Anything else you want to tell us about Meet and Greet? Like what conventions do you guys go to a lot of? Do you go to like San Diego Com and all those?
Just got back from San Diego Comic Con 2 weeks ago. We'll be at New York Comic Con, Rhode Island Comic Con, Granite State Comic Con. Pretty much anywhere there's people, fans, and weirdos, that's where we go. Okay?
Yep, thank you for your time.
Tyro. Stay groovy, kids. Stay well.
Hi, I'm Tyro Man. I'm at Boston Con, and I'm talking with Billy West.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Billy?
Excellent, excellent.
A couple of quick.
I mean excrement.
Excrement. A couple of quick questions for you.
Yes.
What was the most difficult voice you had to do, and why?
Popeye probably was the toughest one because it's all a buzzsaw. It sounds like a buzzsaw the way he talks, and it was killer, you know. And I had to recover a little bit, but you know, my recovery time is still good, like the old days. You can scream and yell and take like a day to get normalized. I'd never had a least favorite. I'm a journeyman, you know. It's like whatever there was to do, I would do it, you know. And you don't always get the edgy project, but I've always put 1,000% into whatever I did, and I gave it a lot of thought, and you know, had to pick choices, had to make something about the character, try to be special.
How about your favorite character to do, and why?
I don't have one because it's like asking a couple of parents who their favorite kid is, you know. But I love them all equally.
And how did you get into doing voices?
It chose me. I mean, it wasn't like I planned on it. You know, I was a musician, and it comes along and grabs you one day, and you just got to go with it. You know, like what you were meant to do.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Best of luck to you.
Thanks.
And there's a final word. Mwah!
Hi, I'm Tyro Man. I'm here in Boston Comic Con talking to comic legend Neal Adams.
And here I am.
So how was the convention for you?
Well, the convention, for anybody who was interested in hearing about the convention, had about 30,000 people here, whereas last year it had 10,000 people here. So the convention increased by 2/3, or essentially by 3 times. I think everybody was happy here. Everybody made money here. The fans were very happy, very satisfied. Everybody had a smile on their face. I didn't see one grumpy face on anybody. The convention, the people who ran the convention were happier than I've seen almost any conventioneers who ran the convention. Everybody was happy. This was a big, wonderful deal. Also, being by the seacoast here, there's restaurants everywhere. There isn't the typical kind of convention fare that you expect to have, like a copier place and things like that. But there was 7-Eleven and Dunkin' Donuts and all these wonderful restaurants, places to walk. It was terrific. Everybody had a good time. You could call a dozen people over here and they tell you they had a good time. No grumpy faces anywhere.
Good. So you've done a lot of conventions, though. Do you have a favorite city?
Lately, we've done a lot of conventions. Last year and a half, 2 years, we've done a lot of conventions. I don't have favorites, but you're asking me about a convention here. This is a very happy convention. Conventions have character, certain character to them. Some of them are very businesslike. Some of them, the fans complain about certain things. Some of them are very showbiz oriented. They have television people and movie people. There wasn't a lot of television people and movie people here. This was like your old-fashioned Phil Seuling convention. And nobody seemed to miss the showbiz people. In fact, I think that maybe we can do without some of them on some of the conventions, because, you get one signature from your favorite actor, and then next year you come back and the same guy's there. Well, what do you do? Comic books change all the time. Artists come and they go and they do things and they go off and go from one company to another. They're always working on something new. That's really the action and the adventure in a comic book convention. It's not showbiz. It's not having, as much as I like William Shatner, and I think he should get all the money that he deserves. My daughter, for example, went to a convention. She wanted to get William Shatner's signature. Bill signed it very, very quickly, treated her abruptly. And she's not going back the next year to get William Shatner's signature. It's just because that is too commercial an end to a comic book convention. This is where all the friendly faces are. So I don't have favorites in the sense that I don't like one above another for a specific reason. I like the variety. I have a lot of fun with the variety.
Now, you've worked, as you mentioned, you have gone DC, you worked for Marvel, you worked at a lot of different companies.
Well, not necessarily a lot, the two majors.
Two majors, you worked for two majors, and your own independent.
I worked on Dark Horse. There's somebody actually on the microphone that actually you can almost hear and tell what they're saying. People on the microphone all day have had their mouth on the microphone and been eating it. They're trying, but they get off the microphone. Well, I sort of understood that. It was a little silly. Anyways, back to what we're talking about.
Well, I was just wondering, do you have like a favorite character that you've worked on?
No.
Do any stick out?
No, not really. I think anybody, I'm a professional comic book artist. I'm a professional artist. The thing that I'm working on had better be my favorite that day. Because if it's not, then why am I doing it? It just doesn't make any sense. Now, I know that's a boring answer. And for most people, really, although it's the truth and honest, it's really a boring answer. So I have a lie that covers such a question, but unfortunately, it's a lie. But I can tell you the lie just because it'll be more entertaining for you and will suit the audience better, but it's a total fabrication and totally made up. But if you'd like to hear it, I will give you the lie. Okay. My favorite comic book character to work on is Batman, because it's like working on two characters, Batman and his cape. Was that a good answer? That was good. Total bull. From top to bottom and a yard wide. I couldn't care less. It just happens to be a good answer. Okay? So for that, anybody out there, you want that story, you can tell that story anytime you want. It's the truth.
Now, what have you recently worked on?
Well, of course, I finished Batman Odyssey, and it's been out now in a book, and I've finished the first X-Men, which is now out in a book. I finished Blood, which is going to be out in a book very soon. And I have just recently done a short story for DC called Batman Zombie. It's in their black and white books that have finally been promoted now, so I can talk about it. There's not much to talk about. It's an 8-page story. Oh, are they going to do this again? Oh, Lord. Where are we?
Oh, you were talking about the
yeah,
recent
Batman
stuff.
Zombie. It's a great story, very interesting story. It sort of responds to the Superman movie a little bit, which was a little ultra-violent. And I disapproved of certain things in the movie, and I'm sorry that they were done, although it was a good movie. So as much as I enjoyed the movie, I still think we're going in a wrong direction with all this violence. I mean, half the Marvel characters destroy New York City every issue. I think the responsibility of the human race is going to be rebuild after superheroes, because that's all we have left to do. You know, we're out there being just regular people, and the Hulk has knocked down half the city. Superman has chosen to battle in the middle of Metropolis instead of the Sahara Desert, instead of on the moon, instead of, in the ocean, instead of 5 or 6 places they could have battled. On the top of the Himalayas, for goodness sakes. But no, let's do it in the middle of the city where if you knock a building down, 4,500 people die. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. And, and what is it? Clark lets his father die because his father said, hold on. Would you stop if your father said, hold on? No, I would go save my father. And if I could travel faster than light, nobody would see me, so what's the problem? And did Zod have a rivet in the back of his head that made the lasers of his eyes move with his head as he turned his head? I thought your eyes moved independent of your head, don't they? You can look over there and look over there. So why didn't he fry those people? I don't understand that. And why did Superman... Did the Phantom Zone disappear? This is what I would have done. Let me see. Oh, can't see, can you? Cover his eyes. I mean, it was ridiculous, and that whole concept was ridiculous. I'm sorry it happened. I don't think that much violence belongs in comics or comic-related material. I think you can cut it out. And the zombie story kind of relates to that. So you have to read it to understand. Anyway, there you go.
And what is blood?
Well, there's also another thing. What's blood? It's something you haven't read. What's wrong with you? It's coming out as a graphic novel. Yeah, right? It doesn't pay attention. It's the thing you're going to read next, so you don't feel guilty when you talk to me.
Yes.
Okay. So so the next thing I'm going to be working on is a DC Comics superhero. I can't tell you who it is, but he does wear a big red S on his chest. But I can't. Or on his behind. I forget it. He's got a big red S somewhere. I think he's got a big red S. No, that's a baboon. No, I don't know who he is. But it's something, whatever it is. I don't exactly know. Yes.
Okay. Right. So that's the big
Makes you
thing
laugh.
going up.
Yes.
Oh, so you can't tell me anything
He's
about
got a big
blood.
red cape on.
Yeah.
Does he got a big red S too? No, you don't.
No.
I don't know. Yes, what?
Yes.
Come on.
So you can't tell me what blood is about?
Blood? It's about blood.
It's about blood?
Pretty much describes itself, doesn't it?
Oh, okay.
Pretty much. If you want a descriptive title, blood, right? I'm telling you, it's about blood. I can't actually think of another thing that it's really about. There's a lot of blood. There's a blood load of blood. Blood everywhere. It's animated blood. It's like that's animated blood. It's like,
animated
whoa, blood. It's animated blood. Does things to you. It's just blood, a lot of blood. Anyway, I'm sorry you haven't read it. Too bad.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't read it.
But
apologize.
I guarantee you the peanut gallery knows that it's about blood.
It's about blood.
A lot of blood. Right from the beginning. Blood, blood, blood. In fact, the first cover I did, there's a lump of blood that looks like the guy talking to him. Blood. It's right there. See? Right there.
Yep.
Blood.
I saw that.
Turn the camera to it. Would you say that is an amount of blood there on the left-hand side? Yes, it is. On the right-hand side. I'm sorry. Yes, it's blood, pretty much. It's blood. Animated. Yes. Aren't you embarrassed now? I would be if I were you. Let's go.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers? Any Words of wisdom.
I'd like to share words of wisdom. I don't have any wisdom. I don't have any wisdom. I don't have
Recommendations for
wisdom.
people trying to get into the beginners trying to get.
Who want to get into comics? Learn to draw. That's probably a good idea. Learn to trace photographs, even though 5 of your stupid friends tell you not to. Since they're stupid, what the hell do they know? And ask Neal Adams, and Neal will tell you, trace photographs. Get a light box and trace photographs. If you don't, goodbye. If you do, you know, you can learn. Otherwise, you'll never learn. Carry a sketchbook in your back pocket. Go to life drawing classes. Try to find teachers who can teach you things like perspective. Most of them don't know it. And since life is better than what's inside your head, trace life and don't draw the crap that's inside your head. I'm going to be doing a book. I'm going to be doing a book that teaches young artists to think. I'm not going to teach young artists to draw because they have to learn to think first. And little things like tracing photographs is part of thinking, and copying comic books is part of being stupid. And we all are stupid. We all copy comic books, but it's stupid, and that's not how you learn. So we're going to have I'm going to do a book on that and tell everybody the truth. And the really true truth is evil, because you have to actually learn to think. But you know, we got a big future ahead of us. We need some people who can think, right? We need people who think. Not enough people around who think. And read blood. I mean, you have to read blood and think. Okay, that's my advice. Read blood and think.
Okay. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Well, a song about never saying never and never being told what you can or cannot do. This is One of Us. Before I got to fighting, or when fighting got to me, I looked to find examples on the field of chivalry, and I saw mighty arms, much stronger than my arms could ever be. So I thought perhaps that field was not for me. But still I stayed and watched the fighting till one figure stood apart, in armor newly fashioned and a helm more pot than art. But each blow was thrown with honor and the lightness of the heart. So I took that step which soon became a start. 'Cause she was not the biggest fighter, nor one to raise a fuss, but I remember being proud that she was one of us. And we might never stand together in a shield wall side by side. Because of her I lift my sword with pride. She was ladylike and lively, not the type you would expect, with a braver heart than many and a slot shot to respect. And I guess she'd once decided this was where she'd like to be, and I thought if she could do it, why not?